Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Sink or Swim. Make sure you watch to the end, and also if this is your first time here, make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Okay, to kick things off, we have a not so bad tank actually this time, and this tank is a lightly planted tetra and cherry shrimp tank, and it looks like it could use a bit more of a hardscape so that the fish can hide, but this tank is actually pretty nice, and I would say it could just use a few more rocks so the fish can feel more comfortable. But other than that, this tank is amazing. This next tank isn't so good as far as stocking. The plants are growing well, but those fish don't look like they're very happy, and it looks like that they are doing 100% water changes, which can throw off the temperature of the water and the chemistry of the water, causing more stress for the fish. But if they didn't have any fish in this tank, it would look nice as like a decoration. But other than that, this tank is terrible. Me on a Monday morning. Fish around it are very compact, and with the cutout in the tank, that's a lot less water volume. And if you did like a school of maybe 10, this tank would be fine. But other than that, this tank is very overstocked, but it looks very clean. And also the fish have no hiding spots, so they're going to be constantly exposed to the open and constantly stressing. So I would recommend adding some hiding spots if you can. This one might actually be smaller than what the betta fish actually comes in. And this is the only time I would say the fish is actually better off being at the store instead of with this current owner. And they're charging $200 for this tank. That is crazy. This one's a screenshot from a TikTok, so you can't see the whole tank. But you can definitely see that there's a whole bunch of goldfish with a betta fish in the tank. And there's a lot of things wrong with that, considering that goldfish are cold water fish, betta fish are warm water fish, and a whole bunch of illnesses that could be passed from fish to fish. And I'm not going to get into the rest. What is it with gumball themed tanks? This one isn't too bad as it doesn't have any fish in it, but you know what the intention is. It is to add fish. So these tanks just shouldn't exist. This tank is very tiny, and it makes tetras look like big fish, which is bad because tetras are extremely easy to take care of, and 10-gallon tanks aren't that expensive, and that's what most tetras need. This looks like a shark tank that has been shrunk down. This is one of those carnival tanks that I was mentioning last week in the video I made last week. And this is smaller than one of those, I think. And it's half filled with a betta fish in it. And that betta fish does not look too healthy. It looks like his fins are torn. And there's a sharp plastic plant in there. It may not look sharp to you, but to a betta fish, they can easily rip their fins on that. And it is very stressful. And it exposes them to a lot of illnesses that can end up killing them, like fungus infections. This tank has 6 goldfish, and they somehow made a black water tank, but not in the good way. But with all seriousness, this tank, if you can't see the problem with it, you shouldn't be keeping fish because it's clearly overstocked, too small, and also dirty, very dirty, and it's not even filled all the way to the top. Next up is a vase that has a betta fish in it. And the thing with betta fish, they don't need that much space, but this is way too small. Betta fish need at least 5 to 10 gallons, and they're fairly easy to keep as long as you're keeping their water clean and that you bought a healthy fish to begin with. Otherwise, you might run into some illnesses in the future, whether it's from the place that you got it or from your experience keeping that fish. This tank at first looks clean until you realize that it has goldfish and plecos in it. And this is the same issue as the betta fish tank before with goldfish in it. So goldfish do not go with tropical fish and vice versa. So just keep them separate. If you want one, pick one. And this tank has a dojo loach and a goldfish, and I can't see the rest of the tank. It has a whole bunch of fake plants, which aren't the best for fish, but if you like them, just do your research on them. Other than that, this tank is a little dirty, but that's just the water, so a water change could fix that. It doesn't look it doesn't look overstocked at all from what I can see. But I think you all should know what's wrong with this tank by now, because it has a koi and a carp in a warm water setup with a Oscar and some fish named a hammerhead. If you know what that is, leave it in the comments below. But they look to be separate right now, but they're still in a super small tank like that. The title on this one says, "I know a guy who told me this was okay for a beta and cited his employment at a pet store as his source." And this is the tank. It's a beta fish in cloudy water with fake plants that look very sharp for the beta fish and could easily scratch his fins. And yeah, so definitely don't listen to big box stores when it comes to carry guys, because at the end of the day, they just want you to buy as much stuff that you don't need as you can so they can make a profit. This is not true for everyone that works here, but the goal of these big box stores are to get you to buy as much stuff as they get you to buy as fast as possible, so that you are spending the most money at once and also coming back to spend more money. I honestly think this is way too big for a beta fish. I think you should cut that in half and then cut that in half, because then that's a perfect size for a beta fish and they won't feel stressed out in such a large tank. This tank is overstocked and it could use like maybe 10 koi at the most, but other than that, this tank is perfect. Or pond. That looks like a bloated molly or platy. I may be mistaken, but that tank is too small anyways for any type of fish. But yeah, get a bigger tank. I think these are one of those tanks where you pour water in and it does an automatic water change. If only they were bigger, because yeah, what fish is going to live happily in that tank? And it's marketed as a beta fish aquarium. And that's why beta fish are one of the most mistreated fish, because marketing like this. Some people just buy animals not knowing how big they get. And I've made this mistake before, but I have rehomed the animals. Like my pleco a few years ago, I gave that to a local church. But this is something on a new level, because they let it get this big and it has the wrong type of setup, and I doubt it could get out of water because this is a alligator snapping turtle, and I believe they do need a bask a little bit so that they can so their shell won't rot. I'm not the most knowledgeable on turtles, if you couldn't tell, but I think that's the case with them. And the tank is cloudy. People really do be making anything into fish tanks nowadays. This is a new low. I hope there's no fish in there. I can't see any, but I wouldn't be able to tell anyways, because it would probably be smushed up against the glass on the other side because of all the plants in there. Fake plants. So hopefully there's no fish in there. This right here is the exact reason why you shouldn't trust big box stores when it comes to care guides, because it says a 29-gallon for a goldfish that gets 10 inches. 10 inches. And if you know anything about tank size, that fish is almost as big as the tank is long. So, with that said, don't make that mistake and don't buy fish that you can't take care of fully. When I first saw this picture, I thought the goldfish looked so lonely just because. But now that I think about it, it's in way too small of a tank that is very cloudy. Like, the tank is probably 2 inches front to back, and you can barely, the back is like hazed out. So yeah, hopefully this goldfish gets a new home soon. But if it doesn't, then option on this one says, "I'd like to report my younger self for beta fish crimes." I don't know how or why I thought this was even remotely okay, aesthetically or husbandry wise. Second picture is of my current beta fish tank for comparison. Yeah, there's a big difference. It's basically how I started off. the hobby with that one divider tank that I took the video down because of how bad it was. Yeah, the tank's gonna crack before the fish die. I'm just saying, it's hanging over a lot on both sides, and also there's too many big goldfish in there, too many fish in general, and also the filtration looks like it's barely doing anything because it doesn't look like it has any media, and the tank is not filled all the way to the top. I'm surprised that stand can hold that tank. That's probably why they emptied it some, because the stand was probably making some weird sounds. These are glowfish, tiger barbs, and they need at least 20 gallons if I'm not mistaken. And if they're in a little bit bigger of a school, they would feel much safer. But glowfish are a controversial topic because some people don't see them as ethical and some people do. I'm like, I really don't see the purpose of them because it's just a marketing thing to get people to buy a whole bunch of useless and expensive fish products that one company offers. I think all these tanks have beta fish in them, and all of the tanks are equally as bad. They all have fake plants. One is SpongeBob themed. One has a stone building in it, like one of the fake stone buildings. And they're all on this wood, like, stand. And those don't look that sturdy. They look like they will fall and break. And if that breaks, all the tanks are going with it, with all the fish. I think they poured milk in their tank. I'm just going to go with that, and I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. She really went there. You didn't have to add the fish into the tank. But the costume is accurate, I guess. She did get 2 fish in there, and it is tilted. It's not the best for the fish, but the costume is accurate. You could have did it with fake fish, but I'm just saying. And the last tank of the day is going to be another beta fish bowl. And at least they're trying to sell it for $20 and not something like $200. But the beta fish hopefully will find a new home soon. So, yeah, that's going to be the end of the video. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it. And I will see you in the next one. And thank you for all the support that you all have been providing.